Now, okay, my voice is clear. It is audible. Okay, am I audible to all of you? Okay. I got the reply. Summer, you have replied. Thank you. Okay, without wasting our time, I'm sharing the screen now. Okay, some of your friends are still joining. So let me. Okay, again, a very good evening, everyone. So we are starting with our unit 2. This is relating to your basic of cost concept. Okay, shall we start now? Okay. So here you can see the screen I'm sharing. So is
Yes,
it
sir.
visible? Okay. So the unit 2 of your MCO-5, it is relating to the basic of cost concept. Cost concept means the concept of cost, its meaning, classification of cost, then elements of cost, then how to prepare a cost sheet which is known as a statement of cost and profit. All these are to be taught to you under this particular unit. So I'm discussing or starting from the first one. So the meaning of cost. So in general term, if anyone will ask you or a person is asking what do you mean by cost, then the answer you normally give that the purchasing price of a particular product, it becomes the cost of that particular product. But in business or accounting field or from cost accounting point of view, if we will decide or find it out what is the meaning of cost, then it is something else. It is not the purchasing price of the product, but it means all the product costs or all the expenses which can be attributable to a particular product or which can be directly linked or indirectly linked to that particular product or which can be allocated to that particular product. So it is known as the cost of that particular product. So in general term, it is meant by the purchasing price or the price you pay to purchase a particular product or acquire a product, but it is something else. So some addition is made with that one to find out the total cost of the product. So the extra addition which is made, that is the attributable costs or attributable expenses. So in the general term, we can also give a meaning to the same. So cost is the actual or notional expenses attributable to a product or service. So actual means you are paying that one or it is being paid. But notional means now it is not paid, but in anticipation we are finding out its expenses which is to be made in future or it is to be paid in future. Then why this notional expenses is also called as cost? Because when you are going to prepare a cost sheet, then it is always based upon the budgeted figures. Okay, so budgeted figures means these are always estimated figures. So it is based upon the historical records or historical figures, and we will prepare basing upon that an expected or estimated data sheet where you can find out the total cost of the product. So how we are going to prepare that one? Today you are going to read about that one. So I am going to teach you how to prepare this particular cost sheet or statement of cost and profit that will be taught to you in the today's class. So next, coming towards the elements of cost, there are different types of classification has been made. So if we will classify, then we can also find out that cost can be classified into various heads from the point of view of function, behavioral classification, direct indirect classification, which is known as the identifiability of the particular cost. The cost, if identifiability will be the base, then it can be called as direct and indirect nature. Direct means it is directly identifiable with the product. Indirect means it is not directly identified with the product, but it helps in the completion of the task or in finishing a particular product. So it is indirect one. But without the help of this indirect material or indirect costs, the total product it cannot be completed or its revenue cannot be generated. So always direct and indirect both are having its own important role to play in this particular field. So coming towards the elements of cost, we can classify the cost into three heads. The first one is the material cost, second one is the labor cost, and third one is the expenses part. So if we will segregate them, means all of these three heads will be having its separate segregations and it can be segregated into two parts. That means material is also having its direct and indirect nature. Labor is also having its direct and indirect nature. And expenses itself, it also has its direct and indirect nature. So direct material means the material which is directly identifiable with a product. So material cost, if we will know that what is the total cost of the product, then we can find out the total cost into three heads. So one is material cost, which is the major means fund required to prepare a particular product or manufacture a product. The most expensive part in a product is the material cost. Then it comes the labor part. Labor means without whose hard work the raw material will not get converted into finished product. So it is also another important conversion cost which is required to convert the direct means raw materials into finished product. Then the third comes the expenses, which is called as the added cost. Okay, so expenses means some other costs are also there which is required to produce or convert a particular product or raw material into a finished product. Okay, next, why direct and indirect segregation has been made. So there is an important part to discuss, for which we have to segregate all the direct and indirect nature of material, labor, and expenses, because afterwards we will also discuss that all the direct will be combined together and it is having a name, and all the indirect will get combined and it is also having a separate name. Okay, so we will discuss that one. So material is having two types, or it can be categorized into two parts. One is direct material, another one is indirect material. Likewise, labor also it can be categorized into two heads. One is direct, another one is indirect. Expenses also it can be segregated or categorized into two heads. One is direct, another one is indirect. Then we will know what is direct material, what is indirect material, then what is direct labor, what is indirect labor, and what is direct expenses and indirect expenses. Then come to the first one, what is direct material. Okay, you can write down when I am discussing all this one by one. If you don't know a particular thing, then you can also note it down. Okay, I will be sharing the notes at the end, but if you are writing a little during the class also, it will help you. Okay, so direct material means all those materials which are directly identified with the product. Okay, I am giving you some examples. Let's take for example, we are producing furnitures. So we are a furniture manufacturing company. So the material we are going to use, that will be the wood, and it will get finished. It will be used through different processes, and the finished product will come out by way of furniture. So when the furniture will come out, by looking at the finished product of the furniture, it need not require any further processing. It is now ready to sell. Okay, so if you are looking at that particular furniture, then what you are marking or what you can see that what is used to prepare that one. ओके, उसे प्रिपेयर करने के लिए और वो जो फर्नीचर हो गया है उसे बनाने के लिए क्या क्या चाहिए, अगर देख के तुम्हें बताने के लिए बोला जाएगा तो बता पाओगे कि ये हमें चाहिए होगा लकड़ी, और जो भी लकड़ी हम देख रहे हैं वही वाला हमें दिखाई देगा कि ये लकड़ी का हो गया फर्नीचर। तो और क्या हम देख के कह पाएंगे कि थोड़ा थोड़ा ऐसे भी आयरन वाला कुछ होगा जिसे कि हम यूज किए होंगे, ड्रॉयर में लगाए होंगे, या कुछ भी होगा जो कि फर्नीचर में यूज किया गया, जो देख के हम बता पाएंगे कि ये वाला यूज किया गया है ये मटेरियल से फिनिश प्रोडक्ट बनाने के लिए, और ये चीज बनाने के बाद हम देख के बता सकते हैं कि ये लगा है इसके लिए, तो उन सबको हम बोलते हैं कि डायरेक्ट मटेरियल। So direct material means it is directly identified with that particular product.
Indirect.
Hope you all are getting that one. So direct material means you can easily dictate that one in the finished product. देख के बता पाओगे कि ये यूज किया गया। Okay. So indirect means these are not directly identified with the product, but it helps in completion of the product or to make the total product a finished part. So to complete the task of processing, we require indirect material. It is needed. It is also used in preparing that one, but it is not directly identified. Say for example, you can also mark this one. When you are preparing a furniture, ତମମାନେ ଦେଖିଥିବ କାଠ ଯେତେବେଳେ ତିଆରି ହୁଏ, ଫର୍ନିଚର ତିଆରି ହୁଏ, all are getting ଓଡ଼ିଆ?
Yes sir. Sir, आरसी भुवनेश्वर में है सर।
ओके ओके ओके। सो ये जो लकड़ी का जब बनाते हैं हम फर्नीचर बनाते हैं, तो उसके मीन्स उसमें थोड़ा थोड़ा ये जो कील हम बताते हैं वो हम बीच बीच में लगाते हैं। ओके, वो जो लकड़ी का होगा कील भी लगाते हैं, और वहां पर हम लगाते हैं वो जो आयरन का भी होगा जिस हम कहते हैं वो, ऑल पिन्स आर यूज्ड. This cannot be directly identified. If you are keenly looking at the particular furniture, then you can identify that yes, it is also a part of that finished product. That means all of a sudden, if you will means look at that particular finished product, you can't tell that it is used or you can't identify that one. But if you are looking deep into that one, then you can identify that it is also a major part which is required to prepare that one. So all these materials are required, and all these are called as indirect materials. Just like to finish or to make it polished one, so polished papers are there required or sand papers are required. Then all these are called as, means these are the indirect materials. For polishing, to have a thick collar, a thick collar is also used, applied. And for proper polishing, a polishing color or a liquid is used. So all these are called as indirect materials which cannot be directly identified with the product. Next it comes the direct labor part. So when we are discussing about this direct labor, that means all these labor charges or the payment which is made to the employees who are engaged in the production process, or the productive wages, we can call them as productive wages. They are directly linked with the production process, manufacturing process. So all these payments are known as the direct labor charges. Okay. So what is indirect labor? Then except this manufacturing process, some others are also there who are working beyond the production department or manufacturing unit. So all those employees and their payment, salaries or wages, whatever we are making payment, all these are called as indirect labor charges or indirect labor costs. So what are the example of direct and labor? Direct labor cost means these are the productive wages or direct wages, or these are the manufacturing wages who are engaged in the manufacturing process. But indirect labor charges means the office means receptionist salary. Receptionist is there who is working in the office. Okay, then manager's salary, it is also an indirect one. Manager is working in the office but he is not engaged in the production process. So if he will not work, then the work will not get complete in a smooth manner. So it is also required. So the manager's salary is also coming under this indirect one. Then the computer operator's salary. Then some others are working in the office and their salary and wages. Everything is coming under this indirect labor charges. Then comes direct expenses and indirect expenses. Direct expenses means those which are incurred. Okay,
हेलो
I can hear
सर
some
अगर कोई
noise. Okay, okay.
हेलो सर अगर कोई प्रोडक्शन
Yes, yes,
कंपनी में
yes.
सिक्योरिटी होगा प्रोडक्शन कंपनी में सिक्योरिटी
हाँ
होगा
हाँ.
या फिर हेड ऑफिस में सिक्योरिटी होगा उस तफात क्या होगा दोनों
हाँ, अगर प्रोडक्शन यूनिट में होगा तो उसको हम प्रोडक्टिव मीन्स प्रोडक्शन जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ओवरहेड के अंडर ले जाएंगे. ओके, अगर वो ऑफिस के अंडर आएगा तो ऑफिस के अंडर ले जाएंगे. ओके, तो दोनों में डिवीजन है. तो एक हो गया कि प्रोडक्शन ओरिएंटेड है, सो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के अंदर आ गया, और दूसरा जो हो गया ऑफिस के अंदर आ गया. उनमें डिफरेंस ये है कि जब हम सेग्रीगेशन करते हैं, कॉस्ट का क्लासिफिकेशन करते हैं, तो एक को हम ऑफिस एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ओवरहेड के अंदर लेंगे, दूसरे को हम फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड्स के अंदर लेंगे. तो इसीलिए हम सेग्रीगेट कर देते हैं, डिवीजन कर देते हैं. तो हम दिखाएंगे कि कैसे ये वाला एक को लेते हैं हम ऑफिस एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव के अंदर, दूसरे को हम लेते हैं फैक्ट्री और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ओवरहेड्स के अंदर. ओके.
ठीक है सर
Okay. So direct expenses and indirect expenses. Direct expenses means all those expenses which are made from the place of purchase till the product is or the material is reaching at the place of storage or storehouse. So all those expenses are linked to purchase. So the expenses which are linked to purchase, it is known as direct expenses. So mark my words. So all the purchase related expenses are called as direct expenses. Okay. So that means here it is coming carriage inward. Then also it is coming, so insurance of the transit after purchasing the material. So transit insurance, it is also a direct part. Then so loading and unloading charges. Okay, so loading after means purchasing, the loading unloading charges which are linked with that purchasing part, it is also coming under this direct expenses. But indirect expenses means except that one after the product or material is reaching at the storehouse, when it is being sold, or all other expenses when it is being sold, means it is out from the factory or out from our unit, production unit, and it is sold to the outsiders or the customers or the contractors who are purchasing or giving order to us. At that time, all the expenses which are linked to sales, so some expenses are there, just like carriage outward is there, freight outward is there, then loading and unloading charges in respect to sales. So everything will be coming under this indirect expenses part. Okay, so we will discuss them when we are using the same in the preparation and presentation of this statement of profit, cost and profit part, which is known as cost sheet. We will discuss that one. Okay. Next comes, after segregating in direct and indirect format, we will segregate the total entire expenses into direct and indirect part. That means we will add all the direct and again we will add all the indirect part. After adding all the direct part, that is direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses, we will get all the direct cost which is known as prime cost. You can write it down. So prime cost means it is the direct cost or addition of direct material cost, direct labor cost, and direct expenses cost. So these three will get added and we will find out the prime cost. Okay, so it is known as the prime cost or the major cost, which is known as the direct cost. Next comes the indirect part. Partly it is getting completed, then we can't leave the other one. So all the indirect will get clubbed together. सारे इनडायरेक्ट को हम मिला देंगे और जो भी हमें मिलेगा उसे हम बोलते हैं ओवरहेड. सो इनडायरेक्ट मटेरियल प्लस इनडायरेक्ट लेबर प्लस इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस, it is called as overhead. So direct is known as prime cost, indirect is known as overhead. So there are different indirect cost classification. That means the overheads can be classified into different heads. Okay, which you are asking in the previous question, that what is the difference between the security officer engaged in the production process and security officer engaged in the office and administrative head. So this overhead classification will help you in identifying that one or segregating that one. So it comes the classification of overhead. You can write it down, various classifications of overhead. So there are different classifications of overhead. Just go on writing. The first one is factory overhead. Factory overhead. The first one is factory overhead. Okay, you can see here the three types of overhead. Here it is written. So the first one is works overhead or factory overhead or manufacturing overhead. You can write it down. Different names are there. Works overhead slash or oblique factory overhead slash manufacturing overhead or production overhead. Four names are there. Okay, so alternate names can be used. So works overhead, factory overhead, production overhead, and manufacturing overhead, all are having the similar meaning. Next, second one is administration overhead. It can be called as office and administration overhead. Okay, so you can write it down, office and administration overhead. Second one. Then the third comes selling and distribution overhead. selling and distribution overhead. It is combined together, selling and distribution, as it is linked with selling and distribution of commodities. So these two are clubbed together. But when classification of overheads is made, these two are segregated. So selling overhead and distribution overhead. Next comes another one is there which don't find a place in your statement of cost and profit or cost sheet. So that is known as research and development overhead. You can write it down. Research and development overhead. R&D. Research and development overhead. Next, come towards the preparation of cost sheet, which is known as statement of cost and profit. In a company, how the cost is determined, because the main objective of cost accounting is to ascertain cost or determine the cost of the product. And after determining the cost, it will help us in fixing the selling price, and also it will help us to reduce the unnecessary wastage and controlling of cost. So first part is the preparation of cost sheet, which will help us in finding out the total cost of the product or the per unit cost of the product. For that we have to prepare a cost sheet. So this is a plain format or a simple format of statement of cost and profit, which is known as cost sheet. And you can see here all the segregation has been made. So a simple means without stock treatment. Okay, so you can mention here. I had also discussed both the formats. That means after taking the stock, and this is the plain one where stock has not been taken. So first remember this one. Okay. Yes, I can hear something. Okay.
Okay.
ओके, कुछ डाउट है क्या? ओके,
नहीं
थैंक यू. Okay, so here the specimen you are looking at, it is a simple format of statement of cost and profit. Okay, so cost sheet can also be called as statement of cost and profit, because this statement will tell you how you are going to identify the total cost. If desired profit is given, let's take for example 20% on cost price is the desired profit, it is given. Then after finding out the total cost, you will add 20% of total cost, bracket profit. Okay, within bracket profit. So profit is equal to 20% of CP, total cost. And after adding total cost with the profit part, we will get the selling price. So this desired profit will get added, and this statement, as it is showing the statement of cost along with profit, so it is known as statement of cost and profit. But if the profit will not get identified, only you have to write statement of cost, no profit will be written, cost sheet or statement of cost. But if profit is also getting identified or getting determined, then you have to write statement of cost and profit. ओके, अगर प्रॉफिट भी निकाला जा रहा है, स्टेट मीन्स प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस जो है वो अगर कॉस्ट के बाद हम निकाल पा रहे हैं ये कॉस्ट शीट बना के, तो उसे हम बोलते हैं स्टेटमेंट ऑफ कॉस्ट एंड प्रॉफिट. अगर हमें कॉस्ट ही मिल रहा है, प्रॉफिट आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो उसे हम बोलते हैं स्टेटमेंट ऑफ कॉस्ट ओनली. ओके, सो हियर this is the statement of cost or cost sheet. So first see these three: direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses. Okay, these three will get added हियर डायरेक्ट लिखा गया है, सो आड करके लिखना है. ओके, so direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses, we will get the prime cost part. Then what we will add? Next comes the manufacturing overhead or the production overhead or the means works overhead. Okay, so these are the alternate names. So production overhead, works overhead, manufacturing overhead, or it can be called as the factory overhead. So all these are having the same meaning. So it will get added with the prime cost and we will get works cost. It is not only the work cost, it can have its alternative name as works cost or manufacturing cost, or it is having its own name, that is factory cost. ओके, हम उसे फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट भी बोल सकते हैं, वर्क्स कॉस्ट भी बोल सकते हैं, या हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कॉस्ट बोल सकते हैं. और उसके बाद हम ऐड करेंगे एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्सपेंसेस और ओवरहेड्स, which can be called as office and administrative overheads. So after adding that one, we will get cost of production. Then we will add selling and distribution overheads. So Mark, so here an important thing I have to tell you all. So cost of production will determine the cost per unit of output. So after producing the product, what is the cost per unit? It can be identified out of this cost of production. Then the selling and distribution overhead is the expenses which are made for selling the product. So for selling the products, some expenses are normally made. These are for promotional expenses, some selling expenses is made. Then means salesman's salary is there. Then upkeep of delivery van. That means delivery van will deliver the product from one place to other. Door to door delivery is there. So all these expenses are after producing the product. So cost per unit will be identified taking into account the cost of production. Then we will add the selling and distribution overhead to find out the total cost. Okay, or it is known as cost of sales. Then if there will be profit, we will add and find out the selling price. But if total sales is given, then total sales minus total cost will give you the profit or loss figure. सो मान लो कि टोटल कॉस्ट के नीचे भी हमारा सेल्स फिगर दिया गया है, तो सेल्स में से हम टोटल कॉस्ट डिडक्ट कर देंगे, जितना हमें मिलेगा हम निकाल लेंगे. अगर कॉस्ट ज्यादा होगा सेल्स से तो लॉस आ गया, अगर सेल्स ज्यादा है कॉस्ट से तो प्रॉफिट आ गया. तो वही वाला हम डिटरमाइन कर लेंगे. ओके, सो उसे हम बोलते हैं स्टेटमेंट ऑफ कॉस्ट एंड प्रॉफिट और स्टेटमेंट ऑफ कॉस्ट विच इज नोन एज कॉस्ट शीट. देन कम्स
हेलो सर.
ओके, हाँ हाँ, यस.
सर सौभाग्य खट्टर ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है कि जो अगर जो सेलिंग पे प्रमोशनल पे हमारे कभी कोई प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर डिस्काउंट देते हैं या फिर
हाँ,
कोई जो जो एक्स्ट्रा सम टाइप ऑफ गिफ्ट यहाँ पर देते हैं तो वो किस में ऐड होगा, किस कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में?
कौन सा?
अगर कोई आप सेलिंग कर रहे हैं प्रोडक्ट
हाँ, वो
तो
प्रमोशनल
प्रमोशनल
हेड
पे.
में आ जाएगा. प्रमोशनल हेड वो
अच्छा,
सेलिंग
ठीक
एंड
है.
डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन हेड में आ जाएगा. सेलिंग में आ जाएगा. ओके, सो ऑल द प्रमोशनल एक्सपेंसेस मेड to sell the product after it is getting produced or it is getting finished one, then all these are coming under selling head. But if it is related to distribution part, then it will come under distribution head. But in small organizations, selling and distribution both are clubbed together and it is having a same department or a single department. So it is known as selling and distribution overhead. But in large concerns, selling department is separate, distribution department is separate. So separately we can also write it there. Am I able to answer to your question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So come towards the next one, with stock. Is it properly visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see here I had written, so statement of cost and profit. So with stock treatment. Then we are having three columns here. One is particular, then details and total column is there. Then we will start with raw material. That means when the stock part or inventory part will be treated, With stock treatment means inventory will get treated here. So the stock or inventory is having different forms. That means stock can be in different forms, like it can be in raw material form, or in semi-finished, which is known as work in progress form, or it can be in finished goods form. Always stock can be in three forms, that is raw material, work in progress, or finished goods. So these three treatments, if you are making along with this statement of cost, then it is known as a composite cost sheet along with stock treatment. So in the examinations, it might be uh, the chances are there that as it is a lengthy type of question, so with stock treatment it may come. Okay, so now I am going to give you the details about this particular one, so you have to write it down in detail. So the first we will start from the opening stock of raw material. So mark the difference only, the simple format and where the raw material, work in progress and finished goods is getting added and deducted. ओके, चेक दिस वन ओनली. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो पहला पिछला वाला जो मीन्स फॉर्मेट था, उसमें कहाँ कहाँ पर हम ऐड कर रहे हैं, एडजस्ट कर रहे हैं हमारा स्टॉक में. स्टॉक का जो थ्री फॉर्म हो गया, रॉ मटेरियल, वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस एंड फिनिश गुड्स, कहाँ पर एडजस्ट किया जा रहा है, इसे मार्क करना है. ओके, तो पहला वाला आ गया ओपनिंग स्टॉक ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल. हम स्टार्ट करेंगे ओपनिंग स्टॉक से रॉ मटेरियल का, और उसमें हम आर कर लेंगे क्या, अगर हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट है तो हम रॉ मटेरियल से ही स्टार्ट करेंगे. तो रॉ मटेरियल हम परचेज कर लिए, उसमें हम ऐड करेंगे और क्या परचेज किए, रॉ मटेरियल. सो ओपनिंग स्टॉक था और ऐड परचेज ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल, जितना भी हम रॉ मटेरियल परचेज किए ऐड कर दिए. और जितना भी रॉ मटेरियल हम लाए उसमें से अगर कुछ खराब होगा, कुछ क्वालिटेटिव नहीं होगा, तो हम रिटर्न कर देंगे हमारा सप्लायर को. तो अगर कुछ रिटर्न किए हैं उसे हम डिडक्ट कर देंगे, लेस रिटर्न ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल. Okay, so purchase raw material, if you had returned that one, so it will get deducted. So you can also write it down, add net purchase of raw material. Net purchase of raw material means purchase of raw material minus purchase return. So it is known as net purchase of raw material. Then deduct क्या करेंगे, closing stock of raw material. ओके, फर्स्ट पहला वाला हो गया ओपनिंग स्टॉक ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल, आड परचेज ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल और नेट परचेज ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल लेस क्लोजिंग स्टॉक ऑफ रॉ मटेरियल. जो भी मिला हमें उसे हम बोलते हैं रॉ मटेरियल कंज्यूम्ड. ओके, तो उसे हम यूज किए हमारा प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस में. तो जितना भी हम कंज्यूम किए प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस में उसे हम बोलते हैं रॉ मटेरियल कंज्यूम्ड. ओके, नेक्स्ट आ गया क्या, उसके बाद हम जो भी था सिंपल फॉर्मेट है वही वाला ऐड कर देंगे. तो उसके बाद था क्या, डायरेक्ट वेजेस और डायरेक्ट प्रोडक्टिव लेबर और डायरेक्ट लेबर एंड डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस, both are to be added here, and we will get the prime cost. So raw material consumed plus direct labor plus direct expenses is equal to prime cost. हो गया. उसके बाद आ गया आड फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड्स. सो पिछले वाला में भी वही था. तो पिछला फॉर्मूला जो था और फॉर्मेट था, प्राइम कॉस्ट प्लस फैक्ट्री ओवरहेड्स और वर्क्स ओवरहेड. तो यहाँ पर भी वही है, जो भी मिलेगा वहां पर हो गया था वर्क्स कॉस्ट और फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट, बट यहाँ पर हम अलग सा एक नेम देंगे, उसे हम बोलते हैं फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट इनकर्ड. क्योंकि इसे फैक्ट्री कॉस्ट नहीं बोल पाएंगे, क्योंकि यहाँ पर वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस का एडजस्टमेंट अभी भी बाकी है. Okay, so add opening stock of work in progress less closing stock of work in progress, and we will get the factory cost or works cost. Next, after that we will again add office and administrative overhead, and we will get the cost of production. Okay, so after finding out the factory cost, we have to add the office and administrative overhead or expenses to find out the works cost, or sorry, the cost of production, the cost of production. And after finding out the cost of production, okay, are you having any doubt? Okay, next. So after finding out the cost of production, we have to make adjustment for the stock of finished goods. Okay, so the raw material part it got adjusted in the first part. Then in the works cost part we got means we adjusted the work in progress part. Then now we have to adjust the finished goods part. So after finding out the cost of production, we have to add opening stock of finished goods less closing stock of finished goods. Whatever we will get, it is known as cost of goods sold. Okay, so this is known as cost of goods sold. Earlier it was known as the cost of production. Now it is cost of goods sold. Then we will add
Hello,
selling and
sir.
yes,
Sir, after works cost incurred,
yes,
I mean, we are adding opening work in progress.
yes, yes.
So, is that different from the raw materials or something?
Which one? Oh,
Because it is already,
work in progress.
yes, sir.
Yes,
Because
work in
already the
progress.
raw materials and the other products are already added in the first details.
Yes, yes. Raw material, work in progress, and finished product. These three are different forms. Okay. That means raw material means जो कि हम बोलते हैं कि पहले हम रॉ फॉर्म में जो परचेज करते हैं, अगर हम बोलते हैं कि ये फर्नीचर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है तो
Yes, sir.
हम एक
Sir,
मीन्स हाँ
so those costs are already added in the prime cost.
no, that is known as the raw material cost. But work in progress means there is also some semi-finished products. So semi-finished means it is there whose cost will not get added in the raw material part. That means
Okay,
it
so
is
there is
there.
cost
Huh.
of work in progress products.
Yeah, work in progress, its opening is there and closing is there. That means it is to be treated separately. From the very beginning, you will find that in raw material form, how much I am having, in work in
Okay,
progress form, how much I am having, and in finished goods form, how much I am having. So in three
okay,
forms, you
sir.
will be getting that one. Okay.
So, yes, sir. With this statement, I mean, with this tally sheet, there is another also cost in cost sheet
That
for work in progress.
yes, from for that work in progress, we have to make adjustment after work cost incurred. Then we will find out this work cost and manufacturing cost or production cost, or it is known as factory cost. Then we will make adjustment for this finished goods. So after cost of
Okay, sir.
production will be found out, then we will make the adjustment for finished goods, because in the previous year there might be some unsold stock with us, so in finished form, but it is there lying idle, lying unsold. So it is the opening stock of finished goods. And in this year, after all the sales has been effected, after the end of the year, we will also find out some unsold stock with us, which is in
Yes, sir.
finished form. So that is known as the closing stock of finished goods. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So here, after finding out the cost of goods sold, we will make adjustment or add this selling and distribution overheads, and we will get the entire total cost, or it is known as the cost of sales. Okay, so this total cost will have a tally or a balance between or comparison between the total sales. So total of cost and total of sales. If both are given, then we will compare in between these two. So if sales is greater than total cost, then difference is profit. But if sales is lesser than the total cost, then there will be loss. So I have marked here 1 minus 2 will be your profit or loss. So 1 minus 2, if you are getting the positive figure, then it is a profit part. But 1 minus 2, if it is giving you a negative figure, then it is loss. So this is the entire format of your composite cost sheet where stock treatment is done. Okay. Okay, coming towards a problem part. Okay, see here, we are having a problem and we will discuss that one also. So we have, see here, you are asking about this one. So it is also separately given. Following information has been obtained from the records of Left Center Corporation for the period from 1st of January to 30th of June 2019. That means during this 6 months period, the entire organization has made some purchase, sale, and everything, and it is given in this form. Okay, who is trying to join? Okay, see here. We are having 1st of January 2019, then 30th of June 2019. That means from 1st January to 30th June, it is 6 months gap, and this particular details has been given. That means this is the opening one, the 1st of January 2019, this is the opening, and this 30th of June 2019 is the closing period. Hope you all are getting that one. Okay, next. Here it is given cost of raw materials, then cost of work in progress, and cost of stock of finished goods. So everything has been given. So segregated form it is given. So opening stock of raw material is given 30,000 and closing is 25,000. Opening stock of work in progress 12,000 and here it is closing 15,000. Stock of finished goods 60,000 and 55,000 respectively. Then there comes some other parts, just like purchase of raw material 4,50,000, wages paid 2,30,000, factory overheads 92,000, administrative overheads 30,000, selling and distribution overheads 20,000, and sales is given 9 lakh. We have to prepare a composite cost sheet or statement of cost and profit to identify a segregated form, that means showing the divisions of cost starting from our raw material consumed to cost of sales and profit. We will prepare all this. That means we will start from the beginning. So come to the first one. See here, it is written statement of cost and profit for 6 months ending 30th June 2019, and opening stock of raw materials it is given 30,000. Then add purchase of raw materials. How much you had purchased? 4,50,000. How much you got after adding? 4,80,000. Then less closing stock of raw material. It is 25,000. It is given. And after that you are getting 4,50,000, 55,000 as cost of materials consumed or raw materials consumed. Then we are adding direct wages, as we don't have any direct expense, so we are adding only the direct wages to find out the prime cost. So after adding direct wages 2,30,000, we are getting 6,85,000 as our prime cost. Then what will get added? After that we will add factory overheads. It is given 92,000. So after adding that we are getting 7,77,000 as our factory cost incurred or works cost incurred. Then we are adding opening stock of work in progress less closing stock of work in progress. So after making adjustment, 12,000 is getting added, so 7,89,000 less 15,000, it is 7,74,000. So whatever we have arrived at, that is known as factory or manufacturing cost or works cost. Okay, next comes we will add administrative overhead or office and administrative overhead. It is given 30,000. So after adding that we are getting 8,04,000 as our cost of production. Next, after cost of production, we have to make adjustment for opening stock of finished goods and closing stock of finished goods. So opening stock of finished goods is getting added here. It is 60,000, so 8,64,000, and less closing stock of finished goods we got after deducting 55,000, 8,09,000. That is known as cost of goods sold. Next, there is selling and distribution overhead given 20,000, so we are adding that one and getting the total cost as 8,29,000. So the total cost we got, that is cost of sales or total cost 8,29,000, and our total sales is given 9 lakh. So 9 lakh minus 8,29,000. So sales is greater than the total cost. So difference is profit 71,000. So here sales is 9 lakh and total cost is 8 lakh 29,000. So the total profit we have arrived at, that is 71,000. Okay. Are you having any doubt? Then you can ask here. Or if you have got the entire thing, then you can respond yes.
No doubt, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. Next, we are moving towards our next unit, that is relating to our financial statement. So unit 3, it is relating to the financial statement. Then what is meant by this financial statement? Financial statement means these are the statements which are prepared to identify the financial position along with the income statement preparation, which will identify or determine the profitability of the business. So this is known as the financial statement. And some other statements are there which will help in identifying the inflow and outflow of cash, that is known as the cash flow statement, and inflow and outflow of fund or working capital, which is known as the funds flow statement. So these are coming under our financial statements. And today we will be discussing about the means what comprises different financial statements in case of a sole trade, partnership, and company form of business. Okay, so starting from the sole trade, in case of sole trade, we will be having, if it is a trading concern. Okay, that means if business can be segregated from that point of view, that means from trading point of view, then it can be of two types, or nature point of view, nature of business point of view, it can be segregated into two parts. One is trading related concerns, second one is manufacturing concerns. Trading concerns main objective is to purchase and resell the purchased materials or purchased products, not material, purchased products, to make profit. That means, let's take for example, I am purchasing a pen from a particular place where it is available at a lower price, and I am selling at a particular place where it is very dear one. That means at a high price it is being sold. Then I will take the advantage of price gap or price difference and I will make profit. So that is known as the trading related business. You are not doing any processing with the purchased one. You are only selling from one place to other place you are carrying, and after that you are making a profit by charging a high price over and above your cost price or purchase price. So that is the trading related activity. But in case of manufacturing one, what you are doing, you are purchasing the raw material, then you are processing that one in your own factory, and you are producing that finished product, and then you are selling in the market. So in case of manufacturing, your entire production process is getting involved to convert the raw material into finished product. But in case of trading concern, you are only purchasing the finished product from one place and selling at another place to make profit. So trading is alternatively known as, or its definition is buying and selling with a motive to earn profit. So we will buy from one place and sell it another in another place, and we will make profit. So that is trading. So in case of trading concerns, in income statement we will prepare a trading account, profit and loss account. Then in case of manufacturing account, another account will get added, which is known as manufacturing account. Why this manufacturing account is added? Because it will be only for producing the product. So it will be having only a debit balance, or it will be having only the expenses part. Mostly it will be having the expenses part. The cost of materials, cost of goods produced. It is the end result of manufacturing account. Okay. So cost of goods manufactured means after goods is getting produced, so the number of units we have produced, what is the entire cost, the total cost. So this is the end product or end result of manufacturing account. But in case of trading account, we can find out the difference between this purchase price and selling price. We can get profit or loss. Either of the two we can also get that. But in case of manufacturing account, always you remember we will get cost of goods manufactured. Okay, so it is a debit balance. Next, in profit and loss account, all the indirect part will be taken into account. Indirect means indirect expenses, indirect incomes will be taken into account, and the net profit and net loss will be found out. And in trading account, we will find out the end result as gross profit and gross loss. Then all these gross profit and gross loss will be carried forward to the profit and loss account. This manufacturing, trading and profit loss account, these three are linked with each other. So this manufacturing account, trading account and profit and loss account, these three are linked. If it is a manufacturing concern, the balance of manufacturing account will get transferred to trading account. Then the balance of trading account will get transferred to profit and loss account. Okay. Next, after this gets completed, so we will find out the net profit or net loss after profit and loss account. This will get carried forward to the balance sheet part, which is known as the positional statement. And this balance sheet will show you the asset, liability and capital part on a given date. So what is the position of capital, liabilities and assets? It will be displayed with the help of balance sheet. Okay, next, what are the various format? So you might be knowing about the introduction of Companies Act 2013. So 2000 and after 2013 Act has been evolved or it came into existence. The previous format of preparing the manufacturing account, trading account and profit loss account and balance sheet, it got eradicated or it is not now in existence. We are not applying that format for preparation of all these financial statements. So now what we are using? Now we are using a revised form or revised format. So these formats are in vertical forms. That means in line format rather than in account form. Earlier we were having left hand side, right hand side. So in left hand side, to will be used, in right hand side, by will be used. So now we are not going to use the same. Now we can use that in statement format, just like trial balance is being prepared, just like balance sheet is being prepared. So we will be using that format for preparing this one. So नीचे नीचे करके हम लिखेंगे. So one by one below we will be writing that one, not in columnar form but in vertical form, statement form we are going to write that one. So this vertical format, so here it is written, so see here it is written format of financial statement, non-corporate entities. Here both the formats are given, conventional format and vertical format. What is conventional format? Conventional means traditional format. So traditional format means this is the columnar format. So left hand side, right hand side. So we are using 2 for all the expenses part in the left hand side and by for all the incomes in the right hand side. So this format is not used nowadays. Okay. So what are the various format I am showing you here? See, so this is the format of manufacturing account. See here, this is the conventional format or traditional format. 2 opening stock of work in progress, raw materials consumed, okay, operating stock of raw materials, add purchase, less closing stock of raw materials, then direct expenses, productive wages, freight inward, raw material, cartage, carriage inward. So all the direct expenses will be put here. So factory overhead, salaries of works managers, gas, fuel, everything will get, or factory related expenses will be getting added here. Okay, right side, there is no income, only some incomes are there which is negligible, that is sale of scrap. Then what is meant by scrap? In the processing or in the production process, some means part will be there which is not in a usable form. ओके, जब हम फर्नीचर प्रिपेयर करते हैं, सम मीन्स सम पार्ट ऑफ द वुड इज बीइंग इन cot format. Okay, so or small cutting format it is there, it cannot be used in the furniture making world, so it can be only sold as scrap. Okay, so not in a usable condition, so after selling that as fuel, ओके, सो फ्यूल हिसाब रे हमें ताकू यूज करिबा और उसे हम जैसे कि हम फायरवुड के हिसाब से हम यूज करेंगे, और आफ्टर यूजिंग दैट वन, how much after selling that one, how much you are deriving, so that is a negligible one, so here it is written by sale of scrap. Okay, and by cost of goods produced transferred to trading account, so this is the result. So this is the balancing figure. Always see in manufacturing account, this side will be greater. Which side? The debit side will be greater than the credit side, and credit side will be shortage, so balance will appear here. So balance will be which one? Cost of goods produced or transferred to trading account. This is a balancing figure. Here it is not written, but you have to write this is the balancing figure. Next, the second one comes the trading account. Whatever it is got transferred from the previous account, that is the manufacturing account, will get recorded here in the trading account. So here it is written to opening stock of finished goods if you are having earlier, then to transfer from manufacturing account or purchases less returns. Okay, so trading कंपनीज के केस में हम परचेज करके रिटर्न करेंगे, और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के केस में हम क्या करेंगे? ट्रांसफर फ्रॉम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अकाउंट, जो वहां पर लिखा गया था कि टू ट्रांसफर्ड और बाय ट्रांसफर्ड टू ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट, सो यहाँ पर हम लिखेंगे कि ट्रांसफर्ड फ्रॉम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अकाउंट, और बाकी जो है सब डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस यहाँ पर पुट कर दिया. डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस क्या हो गया? कैरेज, कार्टेज इनवर्ड, फ्रेट, इंश्योरेंस इन ट्रांजिट, वेजेस, फ्यूल, पावर, कोल, गैस एक्सेट्रा, एवरीथिंग इज रिटन हियर. देन बाय सेल्स, ओके, यहाँ पर आ गया हमारा टोटल ऑफ रेवेन्यू. So by sales, then by abnormal loss, if anything it is there, loss by fire, accident, theft, etc., then it will be written here. Then by closing stock of finished goods, if you are having anything, then it will be recorded here. But if you have to mark here, as sales is the major revenue of a company, so here you will find the profit part. Okay, so here what you will find? Here you will find the profit part. See here, always see, you have to mark. In most of the cases, the credit side will be greater. As the income is greater than expenses, so profit will appear here. But if the left hand side or the expenses part is greater than income, then loss will appear in the right hand side by loss. So here it is written balancing figure and balancing figure. Just like the same, this balancing figure will be added in case of manufacturing account in the previous part. Okay, below the cost of goods manufactured, you have to write that one. Okay, next, the profit and loss account, all the indirect expenses and incomes will be written here, and the balance of the previous account, that is the trading account, will get transferred to this account, and it will be starting from that one. So to gross loss, if anything, any loss is there, but if profit is there, by gross profit brought down. Next, all the expenses will be recorded here and all the incomes will be recorded here, and after that we will be making a balance, and we will be finding out if income is greater than expenses, then there will be net profit, but if expenses is greater than income, then net loss will be there. So here it is written net profit transferred to capital account or net loss transferred to capital account. So this is the conventional format. But in case of new format, you will be having only the vertical one. Okay, so this is the vertical format. So new format. Okay, sales less cost of goods sold, you will get gross profit. less administrative expenses, less selling and distribution, operating profit, other incomes if any, you will add, get less financial expenses, that means interest and others. It will get added, deducted here, and you will get net profit. Then any reserve if you are keeping, then it will get deducted. Okay, and this is the entire format of income statement. Now it is not profit and loss account, trading account, and manufacturing account. It is only the income statement or statement of profit and loss. And the next one is statement of financial position or balance sheet. So here you will be seeing here the assets and here the capital and liabilities. Okay, so it is having its own format, but here it is not there in a proper format. But in the next class I will be sharing you with the actual format of this vertical format of balance sheet. Okay, income statement and balance sheet. If you want to know the actual format which is prescribed by the Companies Act 2013, you have to go in detail into that one. So I will share you that in the next or upcoming class. Okay, so next one is there. I am only telling you this one, so remember this one: grouping and marshalling. Okay, this is the most important one. Just write it down: marshalling of balance sheet, or it is known as marshalling of assets and liabilities. What does it mean? Marshalling means how you are arranging your assets and liabilities. It can be arranged in two forms. One is in order of liquidity, another one is in order of permanence. In order of liquidity, if you want to arrange, then you have to first record or display all the liquid assets here. Here it is written first fixed asset, then all the liquid asset or current assets. So it is in order of permanence. That means first fixed assets will come, then the current asset will come. But if in order of liquidity you have to show, then first current asset will come, then the fixed assets will come. And likewise in case of liabilities also, first the current liability will come, then the capital and all other fixed liabilities will come. But in case of permanence, as it is there, so first the fixed asset will come, corresponding to that the fixed liabilities will come. So here capital is the most fixed one, so most certain one. So here it is the first item. Then likewise the long term liability is here also. The comparatively the non-current investment, if it will be there, it will be written here. So it is known as the marshalling one. So marshalling means you have to remember the order of writing or arranging the assets and liabilities in the balance sheet. बैलेंस शीट में हम एसेट लायबिलिटीज को कैसे अरेंज करते हैं, उसे हम बोलते हैं मार्शलिंग ऑफ बैलेंस शीट और एसेट्स एंड लायबिलिटीज. होप यू ऑल हैव गॉट इट. So in the next class we are going to discuss about
So sir, we will follow this old formats.
If it is given, okay, if it is given in the question that you have to prepare only the format, so you have to do in the conventional format, because I had gone through your entire syllabus and study materials. So all the problems has been written in the conventional format, not in the the new format or the vertical format. So don't worry about that one, but you have to remember this one, because in future whenever you are moving forward or you are going to a corporate life, then you will be encountering about this vertical format only. In the newspaper you don't find now this conventional format. In account form it is not given. You can only see the vertical format of preparing and presenting the financial statement. If you are looking at the business papers, Business Standard, Economics Times, Business Today, then you can find all these vertical formats only. There is no horizontal format. Okay, so remember, so in the next class I will be sharing with all of you regarding this one, means this format of vertical format of preparing and presenting this income statement and positional statement. So thank you for today. In the next class again we will meet. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.